Imagine holding a piece of tech that is completely overpowered, overbuilt, and ridiculously overpriced. This is the Sony RX100 Mark VII. It is a tiny camera that was released way back in 2019 for a whopping $1,200. Back then, people laughed at the price tag and scoffed at it. But fast forward to today, and the price has actually gone up to $1,500. Instead of being forgotten, it is now deeply loved and highly respected. People are looking back at it fondly, and after using it heavily for a few weeks, the hype makes total sense. This little device changes the way you look at travel and street photography entirely. Taking a trip to a massive, bustling city like Hong Kong is the ultimate test for any camera gear. The goal was to shoot street, urban, and architectural photography, but with a massive twist. The plan was to completely avoid conventional street photography. Taking candid photos of random people on the sidewalk just isn't the vibe here. The real goal was to capture the essence of the city itself. Hong Kong is uniquely dense, packed to the brim with giant high-rises and towering skyscrapers. When you zoom in tightly directly onto the building facades, something magical happens. The structures stop looking like ordinary buildings and start looking like beautiful, repetitive, abstract art. The absolute magic behind this camera is its lens. Sony managed to cram a 24 to 200 mm zoom lens with an aperture of f/2.8 to 4.5 into a body that fits in your palm. Getting a 200 mm zoom range on a pocket-sized camera is absolutely insane. It gives you the power to compress a massive city skyline from several blocks away. You can isolate a single building facade and turn the concrete and glass into pure, raw texture. No normal person casually walks around a city with a massive, heavy 200 mm professional lens. Funnily enough, a guy was spotted walking the streets of Hong Kong carrying a giant 200 or maybe even 400 mm lens like it was absolutely nothing. He is an absolute legend, but most people do not want that heavy commitment. The Sony RX100 Mark VII gives you that exact legendary reach without making you carry a heavy backpack or break your back. Looking closely at the physical overview of this machine reveals how it balances size and features. There is a built-in zoom rocker on top, but it feels a little too slow for fast-paced shooting. Luckily, you can easily configure the front control ring to handle the zoom manually, which makes it feel incredibly fast and tactile. You can change your shooting modes quickly with the top dial, and there is an extra control dial on the back alongside custom function buttons to adjust settings on the fly. When you run this camera through the 4 foundations of a frictionless camera experience, the first thing to discuss is form. The physical build is simultaneously the camera's biggest strength and its biggest weakness. It is ultra-compact, which means it completely disappears into your pants pocket or a small travel bag. It is incredibly easy to carry around all day long without feeling tired. However, it is almost too compact. Holding this slick, flat metal body can be a massive struggle for average hands. To fix this, adding a small rig grip or an aftermarket extension is highly recommended because it gives your fingers something to hold on to. Without a grip, your hands will literally cramp up just trying to keep a secure hold on it while walking around. Because the body is so incredibly small, you also have to deal with tiny batteries. The battery inside this camera is ridiculously small, almost the exact size of 2 standard SD cards stacked together. They drain very fast, so you absolutely need to buy a bunch of extra batteries if you plan to shoot all day. A great solution is getting a third-party triple battery charging case, like the popular one from KNF Concept available on Amazon. It holds 3 batteries safely, keeps them organized in your bag, and lets you charge them all at once using a modern USB-C cable. This is a lifesaver for traveling. If you do not use a charging case, you are stuck plugging a cable directly into the camera body, which uses an outdated micro-USB port that is slow and frustrating. The second foundation is function. Make no mistake, this is an old camera by tech standards, and parts of it feel like an old camera. The user interface and the complex menu system feel incredibly dated, clunky, and overwhelming, which can be annoying if you appreciate clean, modern software. But even though the menus feel old, the actual performance does not feel old at all. The autofocus system is still blindingly fast and highly accurate, tracking eyes and subjects better than many brand new cameras on the market today. Sony built this thing with an absurd amount of features. You get a clever electronic viewfinder that pops up from the body when you need. Block out bright sunlight, and there is even a tiny pop-up flash hidden inside the top plate. This is why the camera is considered overbuilt and over-engineered. It is many years old, yet it easily holds up against modern competition. Another unbelievable feature packed into this tiny frame is the fully articulating flip-out screen. It flips up a full 180 degrees to face forward, making it an excellent, lightweight vlogging tool. This versatility is where the camera becomes incredibly fun to use. As amazing as the 200mm long-range zoom is, the camera is also the ultimate casual tool when you drop it back down to the wide 24mm focal length at f/2.8. Going out to eat with friends at a tight restaurant table in Hong Kong highlights this perfectly. You can pull this camera out of your pocket, snap a gorgeous photo of the food and the people, and put it away without turning it into a massive production. No one gets distracted, nobody feels uncomfortable around a giant lens, and the camera just disappears. It is small, casual, and completely unassuming. When it comes to the third foundation, which is the results, you quickly realize why this camera refuses to die. The images are stunningly crisp whether you are shooting wide at 24mm or completely punched into the maximum 200mm telephoto range. The 1-inch image sensor is small when compared to giant interchangeable lens mirrorless cameras, but for this specific pocketable use case, it completely delivers sharp, vibrant images that look professional. The final foundation is value, and this is where the camera becomes highly controversial. Paying $1,500 for a point-and-shoot camera feels crazy when that exact same budget can buy you a spectacular, modern entry-level mirrorless camera with interchangeable lenses. Yet, people are still lining up to buy this device because there is absolutely nothing else like it on the market. There are cheaper alternatives like the Panasonic Lumix ZS series which offer even longer zoom ranges, but they suffer from much slower lens apertures and lack the advanced autofocus features that make the Sony so reliable. My definitive opinion on this product is that the Sony RX100 Mark VII is an absolute masterpiece of engineering that justifies its premium price tag. You should not judge this camera solely by looking at a raw spec sheet. On paper, it makes no sense. In the real world, its value comes from its complete uniqueness. It lets you pivot instantly from an ultra-wide casual shot to a massive telephoto shot from blocks away without changing lenses. It lets you capture professional-grade shots in places where giant cameras are banned. It has become an absolute legend for concertgoers and festival fans because security guards see it as a harmless pocket camera and let you walk right through the gates, allowing you to get close-up photos of the stage that no one else can match. While the camera industry keeps pushing for larger sensors and massive lenses, discovering the joy of a truly tiny, capable camera is incredibly refreshing. It is overpowered, overbuilt, over-engineered, and overpriced, but that is exactly why it is worth every single penny. If you like the video, subscribe, share the video and hit the bell icon.